Today I'll be trying to get through ones with the Hornz Dread Wringer, one of the new weapons introduced in version 10.0. It's based off of some kind of animal, I assume, with the pattern, which is pink. I don't really know many animals that are pink with that type of pattern, but it also has little spikes, which I assume are supposed to represent horns. So I'm not quite sure what it's supposed to represent, though. With that out of the way, the main weapon itself is a very nice option for just general play. It can either play Slayer or support, depending on what you need in a match, and it just feels pretty nice. You're going to be getting so much pain out, even if you're playing the slaying side of it. It's just going to feel very nice to be able to move around quite a bit. As for the kit, comes a curling bomb, which is not worthless. It has its uses. The main weapon itself is somewhat slow, so if you want to paint long lines, that would be what you would use it for. However, the main weapon itself is pretty ink hungry, so if you are trying to stay in a fight or something like that, I've personally found it hard to actually use the curling bomb as well. However, that's just more ink management on my part. Obviously, if I used it a lot more, and with it being a new weapon, I haven't used it that much. But if I had used it a lot more, I'd be more used to actually, learning the spaces to use a curling bomb. However, and as you'll probably see here, I do just kind of tend to forget about it because I do like using the main weapon and just the main weapon. As for the special weapon, it actually gets a good one, finally, the Crab Tank. This was nerfed recently, has a lot less HP than it used to have, so don't use it as a panic button unless you have an immediate escape route, because you can be deleted pretty quickly and then you just don't have paint to move around with. However, this does help the main weapon out in spots where it can't really reach, because that's one of the main things about it. It deals great with mid-range, but anything past that you're going to have trouble with because your movement isn't the best, even with the curling bomb. Just depending on the map, ledges really don't, play well with curling bombs, obviously, if you're having to move up them, because it just kind of bounces right back to you. So having a crab tank that can lob shots up there, or, just hydra the zone or whatever you're doing with it, is a really nice option to have, even if it still does get shredded fairly quickly. And the main weapon itself will be getting quite a bit of them just because of how well it paints. Either way, the goal is 3 wins, and if we get 3 in a row without any losses, we'll go for a 4th one. See you in the first match. All right, match number 1, looking at a somewhat balanced enemy team. They do like a bit of pressure on the mid line, but they do make up for that with the E-leader. So we'll try to play carefully around it. And we're already getting off to a very fast start. So I think I'm just going to try to play defensively and get my crab and then maybe do something with that. Once we do get in control, we can take over zone pretty quickly. So I'm not really too worried about that. But we'll see. Now, I am having an issue for some reason with my capture. Where the screen will just go black for a second. However, I can look at my display capture on my computer, and that will at the very least let me see, but that's not something that we want really happening too often. It'll happen in random intervals, so hopefully we can keep that from happening too often, but we'll see. I had to turn HDR off, which you're probably not too interested in technical aspects, but had to turn off HDR because it does make the colors look a little weird, but I'd rather have weird colors and be able to actually play the game correctly. Alright, well, that might just be me going down. That's okay, though. Again, fairly weird start to the match, honestly. Hopefully, we can maybe hold control a little bit longer. Not really seeing that, though. No really good jump spots either, so try to move back in here. Play it a little bit slower. Once again, we have this guy. I don't know if he saw me. Try to help out here. Never mind. Get this guy, or at least attempt to. There are chargers in our base. I'm going to try to hit him over this wall here. And then, okay, hello. Oh, try to get him. Come on. We're allowed to stall here because we are in control technically, so we're not losing points or anything like that. I'm going to try to get down here. It's a bit hard to get into the trench, especially when the enemy team does have a lot of bombs. However, they only have burst bombs, which aren't as good at, pressuring since they can't kill immediately. I don't mind if I take a trade there. However, I'll also just try to do this. And I will get kind of double teamed there, but hopefully I stalled a little bit longer. Crab does also have a lot less HP than it used to, which is fine. I'm going to signal this way because I see paint being put out over here. And I have a feeling that the charger's trying to do some funny things. So I'm just going to try to keep... Honestly, if he's over here, he's not actually looking over the zone, which is great for us. So we're just going to try to let him do that and just waste his time. Throw some more paint down over here. Stay in control. We don't really have that many points over them. Which, you know, it's not the end of the world, but that one has a Booyah Bomb ready, so I'm just going to wait it out. I don't want to actually keep fighting him if it just pops that, because that can get very sticky if I'm not careful. Oh, almost got him. I got 2 hits on him, which is good. Stay alive. Alright, that's fine. I'm just going to try to stay down here. That's the shot. Just playing very defensively, trying to stay alive. Alright, very good. Oh, I'm so close. Sometimes you get, you know, the 2 hits immediately, and sometimes it takes a while. We lose the lead off this. Unfortunately, we are just having a hard time, apparently. Try to catch him. Running away. Alright, didn't work that well. It's okay, though. I do have quick respawn, and maybe I should be advancing and being a little more aggressive, but I don't want to be overly aggressive and just lose, because I think that's going to happen anyways, but at the very least, I want to be an anchor of sorts if everyone else is down. However, I do need to use our pushing power when we are all up, so I'll try to keep that in mind. Just try to cover their escape options. Now, if I weren't running quick respawn, I would be using, like, swim speed and ink recovery. Wow, he must have a lot of special power up. He has no special power up. Did they? I don't think they buffed the duration of stamp. It feels longer than I'm used to. I don't know why, though. Doesn't really make much sense. Right, get rid of their charger. Bit of lag. That's just great. All right, they're fixing to break out of their penalty. I don't think we're going to get it. Yeah. So, I don't know what happened there, but we had a chance and we were in control, but we did also just die a lot, which is not good. You got to stay alive in zones because it can very easily just snowball, which isn't fun. All right, match number 2, facing another E-Leader. Hopefully we don't play as poorly around it as we did last time. This is an interesting map for sure. I think it does kind of favor AoE weapons, though. Once again, there's kind of just a trench in the middle of the map, which makes approaching hard sometimes for some weapons. Take care of him. I'm just going to spread some paint around. I probably do need to play a bit of Slayer here. Oh, that would have been nice. Get your teammate. Awesome. Should have popped Crab a bit earlier if I wanted to keep it, or at the very least stay alive. I wouldn't have kept it. I think it breaks immediately now. If it didn't already before, it may have actually done that before, but that's okay. We keep a half charge. I'm very surprised I survived that and I get an assist. That works for me. It's a very interesting weapon. You get a lot of value out of it, I'll say, without, you know, as much effort as you would for some other weapons that you would have to put a lot more effort into actually hitting things with. Right, back away. I'm not even going to bother with this. Not until I have a crab up. That way I can just block here. Alright, that's fine. Not fine. Yeah, you really got to be careful with where you pop your crab now, because it just completely gets shredded. And there's not really much you can do if you run out of ink around 1,500 people shooting at you. It still did that before, but not as fast. And it's not something people could as easily just confidently say, all right, goodbye. All right, thank you, friend. Just trying to substrafe around this fella. All right. Was kind of hoping that I could get a second shot out. I would have at the very least traded there, but our teammate did actually take the kill, which is good. Need to get back in here and actually start painting, though, because that is the name of the mode. It's not just fight. It is also slay. Or not slay. Paint the zone. Slay the zone. There you go. That works. All right, I'm going to actually shark here. All right, thank you, friend. Good job. I'm going to actually pop this up here. Take care of whoever I can. Might be able to get him or not. I'm not sure. I don't know where he went. It's okay, though. Paint over that. Teammate did die. Can't really help it, though. Even if I signaled it this way, it probably wouldn't have registered. Alright, there's the charger. Just gonna wait him out. I know someone's on the right, probably going to drop, so I'm gonna keep an eye over there as well. Looks like the... Okay, I'm not quite sure where their charger's at. Okay, that was not smart. I went in to help in that fight, but I shouldn't have jumped into a Kraken. That's not not smart at all. I jumped into the Kraken and they also threw up a triple splashdown, which isn't good either. Just kind of spelt my death completely there. All right. This is why we run quick respawn, so we do get back into the fight if we make bad decisions quickly, though. It's really the main goal is just being as quick as possible. Thankfully, our chip damage from our teammate was still there. I'm not playing with you, my friend. I'm gonna throw this out, actually, and just kind of guard the corner. And start painting as much as I can on this side. Alright, stay alive. Oh, I ran out of ink. I could have actually got him there, though. That would have been nice. Okay, very good. I don't know if his friend's still there, though. Stall this. I'm probably going to have multiple people rush me, maybe? Maybe not. Yes, got him. Again, you're going to get a lot of kills. It's a very nice number. 90 is very nice. It combos with most everything in the game, quite literally. There may be like a couple of fringe cases where a fall-off shot from one weapon might not, like an arrow spray, but definitely not any of your average hits from any other weapon. And even 45's nice. It does make other weapons need one less shot. So, while it's not as effective as obviously hitting the 2 shots, it is still very nice to have. And hopefully, after this match, we don't have to face any more E-leaders, because that would be very nice. Not that he's being the most oppressive here, but I don't really like having to play behind cover the entire match, especially on a map like this. All right, well, we wiped out. That's not good. So we may not be winning this one either. Okay, that's fine if our teammate follows up. They should be able to catch that jump, unless it's a splashdown, then we'll lose someone to it. All right, I need to just start spreading paint. That way we can actually move, and they can't. If I could hit my 2 shots here, that would be fine as well, but that's okay. I don't really mind just painting here, staying alive, getting some chip damage. I mean, that's really the entire weapon in a nutshell. We are back in control. Teammate gets a wipeout. I'll pop crab for whatever reason, doesn't matter, and we'll take our first win. Bit of a sketchy situation at the end there, but we took it over. All right, match number 3. We are facing double Hydra, which is certainly interesting. However, that's not the end of the world. There's a lot of cover on this map, so we can actually use that to our advantage. And the sloping also is pretty interesting, with being able to avoid non-slosher type shots or roller type shots either. Honestly, I don't mind sitting here for now until I have to get out of the way for missiles, and then we can just go kind of right back to sitting in the one spot. Someone comes up off to the side, they'll just take damage, and I'll just try to be annoying this way. I want to actually pop over here on the left and use crab. Again, same inverse actually. It is still a bit hard to hit things over here unless I'm using a lobbing shot, because that guaranteed hits the ground at the very least. So, spreaded some chip damage over there. Not really the most effective crab in the world, but you won't be seeing me use too many effective crabs because I'm just not that good at it. Same with Trizuka. It's a really good special if you know how to use it. Hello. All right, hold on. Yes, we'll take him. Okay, I think I want to actually push this aggressive piece here. All right. Oh, no, I think I only got 1 hit off on the first volley. I should not have been aggressive. That was really bad, actually. All right, jump back in here. I'm going to slow it down then and see. Nice. Should be able to get him. Yes, very good. And they are being very patient. They're Hydras, so I'm going to try to force the agenda on them. If they want to actually get points, they'll have to actually press forward a little more, and that'll give me a chance to actually hit them. This, I know, looks like a waste of a crab, but he was right there, and I was hoping I could at the very least get him. I was hoping he was going to try to duel or break my crab or something, but he didn't. So me just kind of revving up into a wall there was worthless. All right, finally taking the lead. There's a lot of paint in our base, so I don't know if someone is trying to hide. I'm going to try to keep an eye out on that if possible. I think everyone's still back over here. I think I saw a roller up on the right here. Yes. I may lose my life anyways, though, unfortunately. But that's kind of the luck of the draw there. It's been a bit of a back and forth match, so not really much to commentate on other than just when things happen, I guess. Let's just try to stall him out here. I don't really mind that, actually. All right. We have some padding here, so I'm going to try to just take control, see what I can do. Thank you, game. All All right, recover. This bubble is actually really annoying and I don't have ink for it. All right, as long as we can get in control here. I'm trying. We shouldn't have died. Why'd you pop Kraken? No! All right, match number 4. Hopefully this goes a bit better. Another charger, but again, that's not the end of the world. There are ways around them. We have a very interesting team. Double cooler, which is not bad per se. Maybe a little overkill, but we'll see. I will say our pencil last match got less paint than one of the Hydras on the enemy team, which is very interesting, to say the least. So I think we were having a bit of trouble actually keeping him alive. Maybe should have tried a little bit harder to help out there. It's all right, though. Again, there's no real good crab spots on this map because pretty much every spot is just like stopped by any sort of range, which is kind of annoying, honestly. Unless they themselves actually set up in a position where we can shoot at them. Try to get the charger at the very least. Didn't really work out very well, though. Scared him off, which I guess I should just be using it for pressure more than anything else. I'm going to try to just kind of shark over here. All right, where's that charger at? There he is. Very good. All right, we actually will be able to set up in their zone over here. What are you doing? Why are you running with... What? Why? Why? You don't do that with... You don't do that. Whatever. Okay, he missed both of his shots. That's okay. I'm gonna actually disengage here. And actually use my curling bomb for once. Never mind. Guess I just don't get to do that then. Very good. Taking down a crab. That's really great. Need to be careful. They're actually flanking from this side. Help out over here. Don't give him more value from his bullets by just kind of piling on my teammate there. I think he'll be fine. Yep. He's down now. That's good. Charger's back up this way, so I'm just going to try to get him. Okay, well. Yes! Run into my crab. That's okay. I'm going to shark now and try to get them to drop early and not think about it. I think Charger's on the right now. Okay, yes. Nice, nice. I'm very glad that one actually around him. Try to shoot up here. He's actually trying to press. Hopefully our teammates have that. There's like 3 of them over this way, so as long as I can stall for my team, we should be fine. Okay, 3, 2, and 1. And there's our second win. That one went much better. There were some shaky points once again, but a lot smoother than the other matches. All right, match number 5. Looking at another very similar team to the first match, where a lot of short-ranged weapons, but no real mid-ranged option for them. Once again, just kind of being brought up by that E-leader. I assume that's ranged matchmaking doing its thing. I'm very surprised I didn't die to that. I don't know, though. Our team's fairly balanced. We don't have a very long-range weapon, but like I said before, on this map in particular, it's just kind of not really that needed because range isn't as important since the map does just kind of go down and there's not really much you can do about that. All right, I think there's 2 down there. There's actually a lot. Okay, hello there. All right, I have no ink. I'm gonna recover in my crab. All right, I want to actually catch this guy. Or get his friend at the very least. That would have been nice too. I scared him off, hopefully. And just keep him at range. I'm not going to actually press that because of that exact reason. I'm going to actually try to use crab like this. Seems to be maybe a better way of doing it. They both ran right into my shots, which I'm very grateful for. Not sure where their charger's at still. And this L3 is getting a very large amount of his inkjets. It's a very good painting weapon, so it does make sense. I'm not too surprised by that. But it is surprising if he does just pull it out really quickly. Comes a Kraken. We'll just wait it out. He's not even chasing me. Not at the moment, at the very least. Someone's over here, I think. He may be going around. Okay, I'm not quite sure what's going on over there, but just stay alive. Stay alive. All right, go back. Try to get a trade. Didn't hit. That's okay, though. We have a decent lead here, but we can lose it pretty quickly because of, you know, penalties and whatnot. All right, there we go. Back in control. I'm just going to sit here, honestly. Let my teammate kind of take aggro. Kraken's gonna Kraken. They are painting zone, so I'm gonna wait. It's only the Kraken over there, and as we've seen before, Kraken can't paint very well. However, I do see a curling bomb over this way. Try to catch him, hit him with something, scare him. All right, careful. Okay, that's my bad. I could have aimed that a little bit better than I did. I don't know why I didn't, you know, just try to shoot him where he was at, because you can't really paint him his feet that well. And, you know, he's charging up a shot anyway, so he's not going to move that much anyways. I can say anyways enough. Friend's crabbing on the right side, so I'm going to go ahead and try to build off of that while letting him keep the pressure on the zone. At the very least, attempting to. Teammate takes the assist, which is, or not the assist, but the actual kill. We just take an assist. I'm fine with that. I don't mind getting kills stolen if I'm not going to get the kill anyways. Thank you. Okay, never mind. Not a thank you. I'm very poor at following up actual kills, which is very important with this weapon. It's also very important to actually, you know, keep your reticle on people. It may not feel that way because it feels like a blaster, but I promise it is not perfect. You still want to, you know, keep your spacings correctly. All right, that's fine. I'm fine with taking that. Again, as long as I'm stalling, I think that's good. Again, I'm not playing the Slayer role very correctly. I'm more so only doing it because I'm doing the dying part, not the actual slaying part, as you can see here. Most of their teammates are down though, so as long as they don't, you know, get any funny ideas, we should be fine. Stay down this. So I'm going to actually throw this into the zone, and we'll take our third win. Bit anticlimactic, especially with the poor plays I was doing there, but we'll take it. And there's 3 wins with the Hornz Dread Wringer. Not great, just kind of a meh session, honestly. Not really too many just outstanding plays, but not really too many terrible ones either. Obviously wasn't great, but that's kind of par for the course if you watched any of these. So I can't really complain too much about it. It's a great main weapon, and I really enjoy it. It's just sometimes I'm not really hitting my stride with it, especially on new maps. It's kind of a hard thing to learn a map and try to use a weapon that you're not too comfortable with, but one you enjoy using. Obviously, the kit is interesting in and of itself, but I was really only using half of it and occasionally using the curling bomb at very rare points just to get out of places. So it does have its uses. It's just maybe not as useful as some other things. Either way, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, please consider leaving a comment below and maybe even consider subscribing. Until next time.